Hey guys, I wanted to discuss another topic today. It's called resistance, stress, and anxiety. So basically what this entails is when you're trying to push through something and you're trying to work and it's just getting really difficult. And you have that resistance point where it's kind of beating you and it's beating you down and you're really trying to finish something and you're kind of like procrastinating a little bit, you're going over it and you're somewhat kind of going in and out of like that doubtful state that will it be good? Will it turn into anything? And basically when you get stuck up on that anxiousness and stressing of the outcome and you're you could be just at the start, that very start, and then you're plodding along and doing that. And you have to think, well, if I'm just at the start and I'm getting that resistance and stress and anxiety, you need to like take a step back and then recompose yourself, restructure how you're thinking about it. And you could be sitting in this type of mindset where you're not ready to sit down and do such a thing. When you get anxious of the outcome of if it's gonna, like, so let's say you're moving along, you're starting and you're getting past that, just the initial stage, let's say you have procrastination and resistance here, and where you're kind of like sitting there and you're going, okay, what am I going to do for a project? What am I going to put my time into? And you get over that point, and then you're in the middle of it, and you find yourself, because it's nice to start and then get over it, and then get to that point where you're thinking, all right, I'm progressing, and then you almost hit another wall. And it's like at this point where you have self-doubt, you're anxious, you're stressing about the outcome of what will people think, will people like it? Am I actually putting all this time in for no reason, right? So you really have to think, well, if you push past this point especially, like I think a lot of people can do the start of creating something and then they never finish it. And they get that kind of a wall and they hit their head, or the motivation to push and do. It's almost like I describe it as the last 10%, because you get to that point where you've kind of like, sometimes you've shown people the work especially, and I think that's never a good thing, is to show people work and get people's feedback. It's like you get a dopamine reward and you're not finished yet, and you should finish it and don't get the dopamine reward. Just release it, finish the work, show everyone. But you've got it, you're curious, right? You're really curious about what people think, so you kind of jump the gun and you think, I'm going to show people, and then, oh no. But then sometimes it diminishes that last 10%, how much you really need to put into something. And I think you get a bit like anxious and stressed out about, okay, well, to finish that last 10% is a lot of work. Everything always comes together at the very end when you work on something. And so if you think about getting past that point, I would just push, because that reward, it's like you can imagine a curve that you go like this and then like that. It's just like that. It just pumps once you get and release it. This is if you've pushed through and you've done all the good things that you should be aware of and put everything in place. You've planned, and with the project, you haven't approached this project for the very first time. You're not in a learning phase. You're not kind of getting, you could still even be in a learning phase, but you can still push through it. But a lot of times you'll get a certain outcome and a certain quality that won't be that massive spike, because you haven't put all the time in of practice and all that prep work. Essentially, practice is the prep work. When you take on big projects and you go, I'm going to make a big project, and it's going to be the projects of all projects essentially. So pushing through that, just to remember that you have that's what you got to look out for. Like, this is it's like this, and sometimes, or you went and you've shown people and you're like, yeah, I got some little props from that, I feel good. And then you got this, especially if you didn't show say you didn't show anyone your work and you kept it a secret, and it just like the curve is even more of a nice joyride and the feeling, exhilaration of releasing that work. And this is where I'm just coming to you guys and discussing these topics of how you should feel and everything, that the emotions that you go through, and I'm coming through to you guys to discuss certain topics to get you guys thinking when you are working and when you're sitting down and you're doing things that maybe I'm at that point, right? And you kind of flatline, you've shown people, and that, hey, you maybe sometimes don't show anyone. Be confident in yourself. Hold yourself well and believe in yourself, because when you let doubt in when you're working, it will show. It's kind of like your emotions show in the work. So if you go through this massive real self-doubt and you're working on something, it will show. So really try and be aware of all these things, and I hope you guys get something from this video, and you guys can like and subscribe, and I'm going to release more of these, just discussing random topics and all that fun stuff. So I hope you guys have a good one. Take care, guys.